Alright, let's make some delicious chocolate covered cherries from scratch. If that looks great, drop a like and a comment and subscribe, and we'll bring you a whole lot more videos just like this. First thing we gotta do is strain and drain our cherries. So we want to use some of that liquid, but we don't want all of it. So we gotta drain them out and strain them out and make sure we get as much off as we can, and then we dump that onto some paper towels. I have a cutting board lined with a little bit of paper towel, and that works for most people. Some people like to leave the stems on. I don't really believe in the stems, so I like to de-stem them and just have just the cherries and separate anything out that's broken or like half a cherry or something that's not quite right. Then we go ahead and start making our fondant, which starts with 2 cups of powdered sugar. And then we add 4 tablespoons of coconut oil. That's really important to bring it together. The 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, those add a really nice richness to the fondant. The cherry liquid accentuates the cherry flavor that's already present, just in the fondant gives it another emphasis. And the 2 teaspoons of coconut milk is, again, accentuating the coconut flavor. That's with the coconut oil. And it's delicious when you combine them with about half a teaspoon of kosher salt to really bring out the flavor rather than just sweetness. So we combine that and we mix it into a crumble. And there's only so much you're going to be able to do with a spoon and spatula. And then you got to swap over to your hands. The heat of your hands is going to melt the coconut oil just enough to bind everything together and form a nice ball that we're going to be able to use for the rest of this. Now, we pinch off a little bit of the fondant from the main ball, and as you do more, you'll get better at how much goes on there. But pinch off just a little bit of it, make a ball out of it, and again, the heat of your hands is going to bind this together. And if it looks like that, you did it right. And then we squish it between our palms and make a pretty flat layer. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but pretty flat. Then we put one of our dry cherries in there and just make sure that it's good and coated. Because if it's coated evenly, and when we roll it, it'll roll pretty evenly. And it'll be a nice even bite in the end. So we have fondant covered cherries. So we're gonna do that for the rest of the batch. And then once we finish this last one, we chuck them in the freezer just to let them set a little bit, makes them easier to roll. Now, we got to temper our chocolate. Start with about 7 ounces, which is half a bag. That corresponds to about a jar. Add some vanilla and coconut milk in there. I'm doing mine over a double boiler. You can use the microwave if you really, really want to. Use a glass bowl or something that's microwave safe and just melt that chocolate down. And you're going to have to adjust this. So as you see with mine, mine's a little thick. And that's just not going to really give us the right coating texture. So I'm going to add a little bit more coconut milk to thin it out just a little bit. You don't want it too thin, you don't want it too thick. It's kind of a Goldilocks thing. So once you've got that mixed in there, it takes a little bit of time to actually fully mix in. But if it looks like that, that's about the right texture. Now, our frozen cherry balls here, we're going to just dunk them in the chocolate and use one of these wire mesh spoons. And these are at every grocery store. They're like $5-10 at the most, and this is definitely not the most efficient way to do it. There's a way better way to do it if you're in an industrial setting, but if you're doing it at home for someone special, it's still going to taste great, and it's the easiest, most practical way to pull this off. And you know, it's not going to be perfect. Clean them up a little bit. Any white spots, just cover them up with a spoon and some of that chocolate, and it'll look great, it'll taste great. So let's cut one open and see how we did. So when I look at this, I'm looking for even layers and making it visually appealing. And let's see. Oh my goodness, that looks perfect. If you really like that, drop us a like, leave a comment what you like, what you want to see, and make sure you subscribe for more. Got a bunch more coming your way.